Hey guys, Kirk here again at Tutorial Zone. Ubuntu users have a really handy program that comes with the operating system. It's called GIMP, that stands for GNU Image Manipulation Program. It's sort of like a toned down Photoshop or a toned up Microsoft Paint, really. And today I'm going to be showing you the basics. If you know Photoshop, you're basically going to know this, but it's slightly different. So, in the toolbox, just going to move mine up. What we've got, in the top row of the toolbox, we've got the select tools. We've got the rectangle select tool, which lets you select a rectangle, obviously. We've got the ellipse select tool. We've got the free select tool, which lets you just plot points on it and just select it. We've got the fuzzy select tool. And we've got the select by color tool, which is basically the same as a magic wand tool if you are used to using Photoshop. On the next row, we've got the scissors select tool, which lets you select shapes using intelligent edge fitting. I'm not really sure what that means, but I've never used it before. We've got the foreground select tool, which lets you select objects that are mainly in the foreground of your image. We have the paths tool, which lets you create and edit paths. We have the color picker tool. This is very handy if, say, you're doing two different images and you sort of need to clone a color. You use this one, you click a color somewhere on your image and then you've got it in your palette to use. You've got the zoom tool, everyone knows what that does. We have the measure tool, so you can plot 2 points and you'll measure the distance between those 2 points, which is also very handy if you're creating an image from another image and you want to keep the scale the same. We've got the move tool, that's pretty simple. We have the alignment tool. We have the crop tool, everyone knows what that does. It lets you cut parts off a photo and make it smaller, and just so if you want to emphasize a certain bit, you just crop it down so that only that bit's in the photo. We've got the rotate tool, which lets you rotate the photos, obviously. We have the scale tool to make the image smaller or bigger. We have the shear tool. We have the perspective tool, which is pretty cool because a lot of the time you'll have a image that's front facing, but if you draw a line, it'll change the perspective, so it'll look like you're looking at it from the side or something like that. You've got the flip tool, which is sort of like a mirror image. The text tool lets you put text on there. The bucket fill tool, which is very similar, well, it is the same as it's the fill with color tool from Windows Paint. It's pretty easy. You've got an empty or same color section and you just want to change the color, so you just click a color from your palette and click it in. You've got the blend tool, which fills the selected area with a color gradient. It's basically the gradient tool from Photoshop. So if you've used that in Photoshop, you know how to use that. You've got the pencil tool, which is a hard edge. You've got the brush, which is a soft edge drawing tool. The eraser, everyone knows what that does. The airbrush tool, which gives a sort of fuzzy effect. The ink tool, so that you can draw in sort of calligraphy style. The clone tool, also very similar to the Photoshop one, but you use a different letter and it's a little bit different. The healing tool, which is the same as the healing spot tool, except with this one it's sort of like a little clone tool sort of thing. The perspective clone tool, the blur tool, the blur sharpen tool, the smudge tool, which looks like the burn tool from Photoshop, and the dodge burn tool. So the dodge burn is all built into one. So here we've got all your settings for your paintbrush. So you've got normal, dissolve, behind, color, erase, multiply, divide, screen, overlay, dodge, burn, hard light, soft light, grain, extract, grain, merge, difference, addition, subtract, darken only, lighten only, hue, saturation, color, and value. I stick to normal. It's easiest. You've got the opacity and the transparency. You've got the type of brush. For some reason it comes with like a capsicum brush. I don't know why you'd need to use that, but you know, someone somewhere is making a vegetable poster and they want to use a capsicum, and it's right there for them. And the size and the shape, the scale, which is the size, the brush dynamics. You've got the pressure, the velocity, and random. And you've got the opacity, hardness, size, color. You've got the fade out, the apply jitter, incremental, and use color from gradient. So if you've got a gradient and you need to copy it, you just select a color from the gradient and you put it on the other photo. Now, on the other side, very similar to Photoshop here, you've got the layers, channels, and palettes, I think that's supposed to say. And there's an auto button here, and this is your layers tab, which will come up basically exactly the same as Photoshop's one. Down here, oh, I can't scroll down. You've got your brushes, that's all basically the same. The patterns and gradients. The brushes is the same as the brushes over here, so I don't know why they've got it on both sides. It makes no sense to me, unless you're using it on a certain layer, not another one. I think that's what it's for. Here we've got the channels, and you've got the same things down here. The paths, which will come up when you create a path on your image, and the undo history. So in Photoshop it'll have sort of a history of what you've done, and it's basically the same here. You just delete it if you want to get rid of it. So that's basically it for this. It's it's not too difficult. If you know how to use Photoshop, you're a whiz with this. If you know how to use Paint, it's going to take you a little while to learn how to use this. You can get this program on Windows as well, and as far as I know, you can also get it on Mac. So it's going to be the same for each operating system. And yeah, that's about it. Here's your color palette. You can change the colors and all that jazz. So yeah, well, this was Kirk with another tutorial. If you want me to do another tutorial, leave a comment down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. It would be very much appreciated. I haven't got any likes yet, so it'd be pretty cool. You don't have to. I'm not forcing you to, but if you want to, that's cool. Share it if you want to. Subscribe if you want to. It's all up to you. So thank you for watching, and peace out, guys. See ya.